everyone, this is Maria Angelica Frances, and for today's topic, guys, we are going to discuss about the three branches of the government. I know that this is actually a very common topic to us all because it has been included in our elementary years, in our high school years, as well as in our college years. However, I also would like to include this as part of the basic topics that we are going to discuss, that is all about laws. So let's get started. So there are actually three branches of the government. It has been divided into three. We have the executive, the legislative, as well as the judicial department. Let's start first with the legislative department. So when we talk about the legislative department, they actually have this power to make laws, okay? They have the power to make laws, and when it is needed, they also have the power to alter laws, which means to change the laws. In Bisaya, pwede nilang usbon ang balaod, okay? And they also have the power to repeal the laws. When we talk about repealing the law, it is actually making the law null and void, wherein they are going to extinguish the law, okay? They have that power. Again, the legislative department has the power to amend, that is actually the other term for altering laws, and then they have the power to repeal, okay, and the power to enact or make laws. So now let's talk about the compositions in the legislative department. When we talk about the composition, we are actually referring to the persons who are included in the legislative department. So who are actually these persons that are included in the legislative department, or the bodies that are included in the legislative department? So basically, we have the House of Senate and the House of Representatives. In other words, we are actually referring to the upper house and the lower house. So now let's talk about the executive department. So the executive department is actually responsible for the execution of the laws. They are the ones responsible to enforce the law as well as to administer the law. We are actually referring to the laws that has been made by the Congress or the legislative department, or actually the laws that has been enacted and imposed by the president itself, such as presidential decrees, orders, and etc. So they see to it that the laws are actually enforced, and they look onto the laws. They carry them into practical operations. So the executive department is actually composed of the president and the vice president. It is the president who heads the executive department. When we talk about the judicial department, guys, the judicial department is actually responsible to interpret the laws that has been made by the Congress, okay? We are actually talking about legal matters when we talk about the judicial department, because they see to it that the laws are valid. They interpret the laws, if it is valid or not. They are actually the ones who are responsible to the administration of justice between the government and its people, and the private persons versus the private persons. They are the ones responsible to apply the law, to look into it that there is actually justice served for the government or for the people, for the government versus the people, or for the people versus the people itself. The judicial department is composed of the Supreme Court and the courts. the judges, and the lawyers. That would be all for this video, guys, and I hope that you've learned something. You could actually drop your suggestions down below in the comment section, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's all.